5 women with the most unusual appearances in the world that will bring you to tears. Hello and welcome to Discovery Fact, a place where we explore the strange, surprising, and deeply emotional stories of the world around us. Dear viewers, today I'm going to take you on a journey that is somewhat heart-wrenching, yet truly touching. It is the story of the 5 most unusual and unfortunate women in the world. Each story, each person I'm about to share with you, carries a unique fate, facing challenges that very few of us could ever imagine. Before we begin, I want you to close your eyes for just a second and imagine this. If you were in their place, what would you do? Would you smile? Would you cry? Or would you try to find a way to overcome everything? Now let's dive deep into each destiny together. To feel the pain, the resilience, and the moments that may bring tears to your eyes. I promise you, these stories will not only surprise you, but also make you appreciate your own life more than ever. So, are you ready? If you are, let's explore these extraordinary yet deeply vulnerable individuals together, starting right now. Jyoti Amge, the world's shortest woman with an extraordinary strength of will that commands respect. If I told you that there is truly a woman in the world who is 27 years old but has a body the size of a small child, standing at less than 3 feet 3 inches tall, would you believe it? Honestly, at first, most people would probably find that hard to believe, wouldn't they? But you know what? This young woman really does exist, and I am certain that her story will leave you not only amazed but deeply inspired as well. Yes, that woman is Jyoti Amge, born into a large family in Nagpur, India. While her siblings grew up with normal height and development, Amge was born with a rare congenital form of skeletal dysplasia, which caused her body to stop growing after her first birthday. When she was born, doctors predicted that Amge might not survive more than a few hours. Yet through extraordinary strength and determination, she overcame all odds. Despite having fragile bones and poor overall health, Amge was lovingly cared for by her family and learned to live carefully to minimize the risk of injury. However, an accident during a vacation in Kashmir caused her to suffer a broken leg. Even today, she cannot walk for more than 10 minutes without experiencing pain. In 2011, she was officially recognized by Guinness World Records as the world's shortest living woman, with a height of 2 feet 0.7 inches and a weight of only 11 pounds. But what is even more remarkable is that her small stature and fragile health never stopped Amge from pursuing her dreams. She began acting at the age of 8, appearing in music videos, the documentary Body Shock, 2-foot-tall teen, and the Indian reality show Big Boss. Later, Amge made a lasting impression on international audiences through her role as Ma Petite in American Horror Story, proving her acting talent to the world. Beyond acting, Amge has become a powerful symbol of motivation and resilience. She has participated in game shows and television programs, always wearing a bright smile and spreading positive energy. Notably, during the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, she took part in public awareness campaigns in Nagpur, encouraging people to self-isolate and protect community health. Although everyday activities such as opening doors, turning on faucets, or going outside require assistance, Amge continues to live optimistically. She has learned how to apply makeup and dress fashionably, just like other women her age. However, her condition also brings challenges. She can only wear clothes made for newborn babies, and she is often mistaken for an infant. Basic tasks such as opening doors, turning on the sink to wash dishes, or using the bathroom all require help from her family members. Because of her extremely small size, this 27-year-old woman cannot go outside alone, out of fear that people might accidentally step on her. Still, no matter how different her appearance may be or how fragile her health is, Jyoti Amge has never stopped striving or shining. This tiny actress is a true role model of optimism and perseverance, admired and learned from by people around the world, wouldn't you agree? She is a shining example that not everyone has the courage or strength to overcome and follow. Yet I sincerely hope that no matter what situation you are in, no matter how difficult life may seem, when you look at her story, you will find an extraordinary source of motivation to keep moving forward. Stay strong. Keep going. The world's tallest woman, unexpected fame, and a silent tragedy. Have you ever imagined what life would be like if from the moment you were born, you stood out far more than everyone around you? If you've never thought about it or pictured such a life, then let Sandra Elaine Allen, also known as Sandy, help you imagine it. Born on May 18, 1955 in a small town near Chicago, baby Sandy amazed nurses and doctors from the very moment she entered the world because of her extraordinary size. She was significantly larger and heavier than other newborns. But standing out is not always a blessing, and sadly, Sandy's family did not give her much care or attention. As Sandy grew older, her difference became more and more apparent. By 5th grade, she had already reached a height of about 6 feet 3 inches, and by the age of 18, she stood approximately 7 feet 1 inch tall. It might sound incredible, but her life was anything but easy. Sandy grew up in an unhappy family. Her parents abandoned her, leaving her grandmother to raise her alone. Every day, Sandy had to endure ridicule and discrimination from classmates because of her massive frame. Even simple things like finding clothes or a bed became nearly impossible. In fact, her grandmother had to custom order a bed measuring about 8 feet 2 inches long, placed in the dining room, just so Sandy would have a place to sleep. A major turning point in Sandy's life came in 1976, when Guinness World Records officially recognized her as the tallest woman in the world, with a height of approximately 7 feet 7 inches. Overnight, Sandy transformed from an ordinary office worker into a media sensation. She appeared on television, received movie offers, was featured in newspapers, and traveled around the world sharing her story. She also wrote books, became a public speaker, and participated in numerous advocacy campaigns for people with disabilities, using her own differences to inspire others. However, what many people didn't know was that behind this spotlight lay deep pain. A truth Sandy only fully revealed near the end of her life in her autobiography, Cast a Giant Shadow. Her extreme height was not hereditary, but caused by a tumor on her pituitary gland, which led to excessive production of growth hormone. When she was young, surgery was recommended, but due to poverty, her family could not afford it. It wasn't until she was 22 years old, after gaining worldwide recognition, that Sandy was finally able to undergo the surgery free of charge. Otherwise, no one knows just how tall she might have grown. Even more heartbreaking is the fact that Sandy never experienced romantic love. She spent her final years living alone in a specialized care facility, paralyzed and completely dependent on others for daily care. On August 13, 2008, Sandy passed away at the age of 53, leaving behind a world record that remains unbroken to this day. Sandy Allen's life is a powerful reminder that standing out does not necessarily mean happiness. Yet her strength and the way she faced her destiny continue to inspire countless people. Looking back on Sandy's journey, we can see that even when life is unfair, a person can still live meaningfully and leave a lasting mark on the world, don't you think? The girl who walked on all fours, one of humanity's most extraordinary oddities. A small petite girl who moved around on all fours like a real camel. It sounds strange and almost impossible, doesn't it? Yet this was the real-life story of Ella Harper, a woman known as the Camel Girl in the late 19th century. Born in a rural area of Tennessee, Ella suffered from a rare medical condition that caused her knees to bend backward, forcing her to move using both her hands and feet. At that time, doctors were powerless. They could neither explain nor treat her condition. What made Ella truly remarkable, however, was that instead of letting her circumstances defeat her, she turned her difference into an opportunity. At just 12 years old, she began performing in circuses, traveling from St. Louis to New Orleans, astonishing and intriguing audiences wherever she went. She would often bring a camel with her during performances to emphasize her uniqueness, which is how the nickname the Camel Girl was born. Ella earned $200 per week, a substantial income at the time, equivalent to about $5,000 today. Her success in the circus brought her fame and financial stability. Yet despite the attention and high income, Ella did not find happiness in public admiration. She felt she was treated merely as entertainment, not respected as a person. For this reason, toward the end of 1886, Ella made the decision to leave her performing career behind and focus on her education. After leaving the circus, Ella Harper lived a quiet and private life. She returned to Sumner County, Tennessee, where she lived with her mother and niece. In 1905, Ella married Robert Savely, a teacher and bookkeeping clerk. They had a daughter named Mabel, who tragically passed away at just 6 months old. Sometime later, they adopted another baby girl who also died at only 3 months of age. Ella and her family later moved to Nashville, Tennessee, where she lived until her death on December 19, 1921, from colon cancer at the age of 51. Ella Harper was laid to rest at Spring Hill Cemetery, near Nashville. Ella Harper's life was not only a story of endurance and resilience, but also a powerful testament to how human beings can turn adversity into opportunity, even when life is harsh and deeply unfair. Her story is not merely about an oddity in the eyes of the public, but a reminder that appearance or circumstance does not define who you are. Challenges will always exist, but how you choose to face them is what truly shapes the person you become. And you, if you were to meet someone like Ella, how would you see them? Leave your thoughts in the comments because sometimes the strangest stories teach us the most valuable lessons. The heaviest woman of the 20th century and the haunting life behind the title. Try to imagine this, an ordinary woman who suddenly becomes a name known around the world solely because of her weight. What would life be like for someone like that? Carol Joerger, a woman born in 1960, was one such case. Born and raised in the United States, Carol became known as the heaviest woman in the world in recorded history, with a body weight of nearly 1,200 pounds. Just hearing that number is enough to shock anyone, isn't it? But Carol's story is not just about numbers. It is a painful journey filled with suffering and challenges that very few people truly understand. From a young age, Carol struggled with her weight. You might think that eating less and exercising more would solve the problem, but for Carol, it was never that simple. She tried to lose weight on her own and attempted to live a normal life, yet her health continued to deteriorate day by day. As her weight increased, severe pain and serious complications began to appear. Heart problems, breathing difficulties, and many other medical issues, until her life was almost completely controlled by her own body. Now try to imagine this. It took 20 firefighters just to transport her to the hospital. It may sound unbelievable, but that was the harsh reality Carol had to endure. Every hospital visit was not just a medical treatment, but a fight for survival. Then, in 1994, after years of relentless struggle with illness and extreme obesity, Carol passed away. Her death was not only a devastating loss for her family and loved ones, but also a powerful warning to all of us about the serious consequences of obesity. Carol's story reminds us that maintaining a healthy and balanced lifestyle and seeking proper medical support at the right time is critically important. Don't wait until your health is already at risk to start caring for it. And if you or someone close to you is currently struggling with weight-related issues, look at Carol's story as a reminder. Nothing is more important than taking care of your own body. Have you ever heard a real-life story that made you feel both shocked and deeply sympathetic like this? Share your thoughts in the comments below because every story carries its own lesson, one we should never ignore. And don't forget to like and subscribe to be the first to discover the latest stories from Discovery Fact. Thank you for watching. And now goodbye and see you again soon.